Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Spirit Bubble. I'm Cara.
Hi, Mama.
Yay! We're so glad to have you back here. Um, I know originally when we started this basics and we got on to the topic of love, I expected maybe like two conversations about it, but it seems like love has been such a profound aspect that is so been so much to discover on. And it's not just talking about just love for people, but it's just so many levels of this that it can go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a tarot player and they have the lover's card. And my favorite deck explained love as existing in layers that you can explore.
Oh, my cat
Wow.
just broke something.
Oh my.
Goodness gracious. Well, whatever it is, I guess I'll get back to it a little later.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
All
nobody
right.
here that can step on it, so it'll be
Oh,
fine for
good.
now. Yeah.
Good. Good. All right. Well, jumping back into what we were talking about, love exists in layers because there's so many different definitions of what love is to people that
Yeah.
you get to explore and define for yourself what love means to you.
Yeah. Love is definitely a very important underlying foundation. That's essentially kind of what we're going over right now is how we define our foundations and how it, or should I say, how it is defined as being the foundation. I know for me personally, love existed as a foundation in my journey in the sense of my connection to people. I would say essentially that's what it is. It's been the connection and the communication and how I received people. Because when I first started, having a very social history background, of course, you get into these big groups of people, and then, it seems like the bigger the group, the more dramatic it can be. And
Hmm.
so there was a lot of drama that kind of came with it. And when I started letting go of those people, I was holding on to a grudge, right? And then when I started going into this journey and discovering these things for myself and the underlying importance of these things in life, I ultimately discovered that these grudges is what was holding me back from a lot of things. You know, I was
Absolutely.
I was not carrying the unconditional love. I was holding conditions against them. And so finally one day when I realized, I'm like, this is becoming a heavy burden. You know, I know there's something beyond carrying this. If I could just let it go. So I looked up to the universe and whether or not they could hear me, because some of them I'm not in touch with anymore, you know? No form of communication, no phone, nothing. So I looked up to the universe and I was like, you know what? I forgive you for this. You know what? I'm letting go of this. I'm letting love in and I'm forgiving you for this. Everything gone. And the day that I did that, it really started opening up a path to the empathy that was really necessary for me to just take that great leap forward that was just waiting for me.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. You let love into
Yeah,
yourself. And that forgiveness that so many see as something we do for others actually freed you to feel unconditional love
yeah.
and just experience that light and energy that love is.
Right. Even if I wasn't in touch with those people, even if I wasn't intending to go back, even if no matter how much the pain had been that whatever their actions had caused, I just decided I need to let go of this hatred of that. I need to let go of this grudge. I need to drop that boulder off of my shoulder And
Oh, I like that. Drop that boulder off my
yeah,
shoulder.
it was like
Right?
just trying to hold on to that. And, with that being the basis of my life were those grudges and trying to hold on to the lesson aspect instead of looking at the love aspect, that I recognized eventually in my own right time that that is what was holding me back from a lot of things, from
Wow.
peace.
Yeah. Absolutely. I find I agree that our definition of love is often the very thing that's limiting our ability to experience happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And so by learning to love better or understand love better, you get to experience it better. And
Right.
so it's a journey to experience love in the way you most need. And for
Mm-hmm.
me on my journey, it was an inward journey of desperation
Oh.
because for me, I could never get enough love in my life. It wasn't
Oh.
that I wasn't nurtured and taken care of. I had quite the golden childhood, actually. But even with all the support and love I had in my life, I didn't have it from the inside. And that left a void in my life to
Oh.
constantly seek love out from others.
From an
I,
outside source.
mm-hmm, absolutely. I needed others to make me feel the love I didn't know myself. And so I disrespected myself. I disrespected my boundaries just to get people in my life to make me
Oh.
feel better. And
Yeah.
so love for me was a journey of finding how to value myself properly.
Yeah.
Because by not valuing myself properly, I wasn't valuing my relationships with people properly. I was putting too much priority on their side of it, and it became an unbalanced relationship.
Yeah.
So equality, like we talked about last time, it was learning to love myself as I wanted to love others and loving
Mm-hmm.
others as I needed them to love me. So it was like a full circle journey of learning what love was and how to share it better with myself and others.
Yeah. And now that you have a better understanding of a true definition of love in your life, you have
Mhm.
pretty much found an endless peace no matter what happens.
You are absolutely right. It's like I lit the torch of love in my heart, and that torch is just burning bright endlessly in every moment. So, like, I have no problem feeling love for myself without being prideful and
Yeah.
egotistical, right? It's a
Yeah.
humble love. And
Yeah.
that humble love allows me to share unconditional love with people that I cross paths with
Right.
because I love them as I love myself, which is just to the ends of the earth. I'm lucky to be me and I'm lucky to meet you. So it's just this loving acceptance of who we are and who we get to be for each other.
Yeah. It's in your relationships. It really impacts how you take in the way that people or what people give to you, And since I started accepting that these people with these flaws or mistakes that may have been made that just so happen to reach my way, now let's say if somebody does something that upsets me, I can actually, I might remember it, you know, for the lesson's sake, but it's not something that I hold against them. So that way I can't what's the right wording? So that way I can still hold a spot in my heart to share some love, like coworkers who may have processed their different ways of thinking, that may not agree with mine. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with them, but I can still find some love for them in order to wish them well. I'm no longer sending a jaded message.
Right, right. Because before the love was about filling a deficiency in yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now the love that you feel is whole and overflowing, and it's easy to share with others, even when they're different or difficult, or, just
Yeah.
somebody is going to pass from your moment. It's easy to give that love towards them and the acceptance of who they are, even if they're not going to be somebody in your long term life plans.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really creates an underlying foundation in the way that we connect to people. And the way that we connect to people also underlies in the example that we're setting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're a living representation of love, you're showing people how you are, who you are, what you are, right? And
Yeah.
that puts out there for them to experience real love and know how to give it back to you in the way you need.
Right. It plants a seed for a future lesson, even if they don't reciprocate to you right away in the same fashion. It still plants a seed there in order to be able for them to look back and say, wow, back then I may not have noticed, but that was very an incredible connection. And I'm grateful for what they provided to me, you know?
Absolutely. That's like planting a little seed in somebody's mind, heart, experience that, you know, blossoms when they connect to that love aspect of it, right? It may
Right.
not touch them in the moment, but down the road, when love becomes something they're looking for, that little seed blossoms and they remember, wow,
They're
that
gonna
really meant something.
they're gonna remember, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Um, oh, remember how last time that we spoke, I had talked about the having that connection that was using our vehicle for rides.
I do.
Well, I had stood up for myself. I expressed love for our boundaries,
Yay, good
for our
job.
health, and I had gone to pick them up, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, such and such says that I need to do 3 appointments a week," and I just had to cut it off there, and I just had to say, you know what, I'm sorry, but we're not available. You're gonna have to find somewhere other way.
Right. That's very fair.
Yeah,
Again, it was an expectation that they had a need and
yeah,
you were going to be the one to fulfill it. Not, hey, could you
yeah.
help in some way? It was, hey, no, it's 3 times a week and this is what we
Right,
need. And so again, that expectation led to the need for you to respect yourself and
right.
your needs and lay the foundation of love for yourself that made this situation healthy for you.
Right. I also put love into our own personal health, the same token of saying, okay, I know that you make a doctor's appointments, but I can't do 8 o'clock appointments because this doesn't go with our schedule. And
Yes,
I had to clarify, like, look, this is a better time frame. Just let's try not to have any more 8 o'clocks.
right, right, absolutely. I think like this part of your journey, communication, that is a big part of love, being able to express what you need, what others need, how you feel, you
Right.
know, communication is huge in having healthy definitions of love.
Yeah. Love not only does love express an admiration and acceptance for someone, but it also expresses boundaries when they're necessary. Because it's like, I don't know, this is probably an extreme example, but it's like you can have, like, let's say your child has gotten on drugs, right? And I mean, you want your child to be happy. So if that child was like, "Oh, mom, I really need this to be happy. I need some money." You could sit here and you could think that love was an expression of, "Okay, well, anything that makes my child happy, I love them, so here you go." Or you could be like, "I really love my child And so therefore I'm going to do what's necessary for them to help themselves. So I'm going to deny them.
Absolutely.
You know,
Love
cutting
isn't, oh, go ahead.
yeah, just cutting them off from things that are leading to unhealthy paths.
Yep, that's absolutely a part of love. Love isn't just saying yes, it's feeling for somebody else and wanting for their health and wellness and
Mm-hmm.
well being. So it's not just giving in to the easy yes to make someone happy in the moment. It's looking at the
Right.
big picture of what their real needs are
Yeah.
and how you can help those needs.
Right. And it's less of appeasing and more of a true in-depth caring for what's best for them, you know?
Oh,
Like
yes.
I've had parents or my parents have said before, I'm doing this because I love you. And in the time you may not necessarily understand, you think that, oh, they're just cutting you off from being able to have your fun. Oh, they're just cutting you off from doing what you want to do. But ultimately, in the end, the reason why they're saying that is because they care enough about you to lead you in a positive direction. Now, if they didn't care about you, they wouldn't care about what this was going to do to you or to your future. And they'd say, okay, well, whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So I don't care. Go on. Do what you want. But no, they care enough to stop and say something, to intervene, you know?
Right. Right. They have that consideration of your wellness to
Mm-hmm.
take action and do what's needed, not just what's easy in the moment.
Right. And in that moment where I had cut them off and said, "No, I can't take you to these appointments 3 days a week," the cutting them off from that wasn't because I didn't want to help them. It's because they needed to start understanding that situations like this is going to happen. It's teaching them skills and teaching them the wisdom, the knowledge to say, "Okay, well, maybe I need to start creating contingency plans because the next person after me may not be that patient and may not be that giving and caring."
Absolutely. You know, honestly, I was in my own situation where I didn't have a car,
Mm,
and I had a friend who let me use her car when she didn't need it.
yeah,
And I I think back then I was more inconsiderate of what her generosity was, less considerate of her time.
yeah,
And so, or not so much her time because she wasn't running me. She was
right,
letting me use the car when
right,
she wasn't using it. But for her, it got to be that I was taking advantage of her vehicle
yeah,
and not respecting that it was hers, which is fair. All my running was adding mileage and wear and tear. And even though I was putting gas in the car,
mm,
it's still it's utilizing something that wasn't mine. And to her, I didn't respect that. So
right,
in the same way, I experienced that negative situation
right,
where what I took was too much to
yeah,
somebody that wanted to give to me. So now I'm present moment without a car.
yeah,
And like, I am so much more aware of what I'm asking of other people to give me in
yeah,
my time of need. And I think that lesson of living the past, of taking advantage of someone's kindness, or at least having them perceive I was taking advantage of it, right? That really struck home that it's important to respect other people
yeah.
just as much as you respect yourself.
Yeah, there was a lesson of consideration that you needed to experience in order to make you the better person now that are here today. Because if you had never experienced that and learned that, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this.
Oh, yes, I believe that. I believe that our past experiences give us lessons to grow and learn from. So it shapes us in every future moment that's falling in into who we are, which is a better version of ourselves. So as long as you're looking at the past as like a lesson or a guidepost on
Yeah,
how to better yourself, then your present moment is full of all the understanding you need to move forward in a better way.
It's turning you into a more loving person.
Yes. Yes, it is. And which how awesome is that? That you can learn to love better. Like I think some people rest in stasis on what love is. Like if they just say I love you, that's enough. But for me, love is a verb. You have to give love. You have to show love. You have to
Mhm.
express love and let it come out in every form imaginable in order for it to be felt for real.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that living definition of love being something you have to act upon keeps me growing in bettering myself
Yeah.
because I want to know how to find perfect love. And
Yeah.
like perfection is something not many people believe in, but I'm striving for it with love, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Perfection is definitely a very finicky thing to say whether it exists or not because some people they're going to tell you, oh well, it doesn't exist, and so therefore that's not something you should chase. And then some people are going to believe that it exists and continually try to change in order to reach it. And then some are going to say that everything is perfect as it is already, and so
Yeah.
therefore it already exists. It's that's a very interesting subject there.
Ooh, maybe a topic for later discussion.
Yeah, probably for another time because I'm telling you, we're going to be ranting for an hour.
Right? Yep, absolutely. Part of my journey was learning to accept the perfectionist side of myself.
Hmm.
So it's something that's very real to me and that I've learned to incorporate into my definition of love. So even while some may struggle with concepts of perfection, to me, perfection is a possibility that exists because of love. So
Yeah,
it's again, love is that foundation in my belief that makes all other things possible.
it's a very large foundation. It's a very large fund. In fact, because we had a comment talking about love and trust also being interchangeable with each other. Remember?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It was a great comment, and we're
Oh,
so happy you left it.
oh, I know. I love it. I love the exploration of that. And it's just, I look forward to seeing, other people's perspectives too.
Yes. So if you're listening and you've got ideas on what love is to you and what your journey in love has been, please leave a comment, leave a message. Let us know what it's been like for you because we'd love to share with you.
Yes, what has love taught you? Where
That's
has
a
it
great
led you
one.
to?
Yes, yes, those are great questions to answer.
Yes, definitely. Um, well, let us know, guys, about the topic of that. You've heard our perspective. We love sharing our perspective.
Yes,
That's
we
just
do.
it really creates to me, overall love is the foundation of the communication, of the receiving and the giving, and making sure that it stays positive, no
Ooh,
matter what.
that's yes.
Yeah,
Staying positive is a good aspect of love. I
yeah.
think a lot of people experience negative or toxic definitions of love. And
Oh,
so it taints their ability to really experience unconditional love and
yeah.
acceptance.
Oh yeah, talking about like those with the pasts where like people displayed the wrong form of it. If you loved me, you would do this. If you love me, you'll follow that. You'll try to get this.
Hmm.
If you love me,
Yes.
you'll stay with me.
Yes.
Oh,
Manipulation. That
oh,
is not love. Not love.
oh no.
And look, I think a lot of toxic definitions of love include control and manipulation. And those are limits on how freely you can feel love. But real unconditional love involves freedom and acceptance to be just as you are. So there's no control needed because it just feels good to express that love.
Right. Oh, by the way, this time I remembered my drink.
Oh, I have mine too sitting over here.
Oh, yay! Yes. But yeah, those forms of love, those toxic forms, they tend to go from generation down to generation because that's what those children have witnessed. That's what that spouse has witnessed. And so, therefore, that's what they turn around and they do to their next spouse, you know?
Yes, it's often we repeat that which we have experienced. So
Mm-hmm.
when we've been conditioned to love toxically or to experience love in a negative fashion, it becomes a repeating cycle through our lives to to give and receive love in that same way. It takes almost experiencing love from someone else in a healthy fashion to give that perspective that what you're doing, how you're loving, isn't healthy and isn't helpful for feeling good and happy in life.
Right. Well, here's an excellent thought right here. Okay, so I have my struggles with doubt, right? Doubt, anxiety, that kind of thing. And so sometimes whenever I get off these kind of discussions, I think, oh, I could have handled that better. Oh, are people going to be interested? Oh, are we going to get people who actually want to watch and like really take in? And then I remind myself, we are here doing what we love. We are sharing what we love. We're putting love into this project, and that's enough as it is. And going to that thought actually just kind of just erases all those little doubts and those second guesses.
Love is enough. And
Yes.
that's perfectly it. Loving
Yeah.
yourself makes you enough to be worthy of love from others,
Yeah.
right? And just love is worthiness and love is connection, right?
Right.
So learning that opening yourself up to that valuing of love. I'm losing my train of thought.
Yeah. Basically, opening up to accept that no matter what really is kind of a healing aspect, because in that sense, we're like, I might get off of this call and I might think back to what I said and I might think, oh, I could have said something better. Oh, I could have been more entertaining. But when I treat myself with that love, remember how I said it just like it erases all that? When I treat
Mm-hmm.
myself to that love to say, hey, I'm doing what I love and I'm sharing what I love. And so therefore that makes it worthy.
Yep.
It
You are accepting yourself as you are and in the wholeness of what you were able to give and
yeah.
know that that's enough just because
Yeah.
you love yourself.
And I don't need that outside validation. I don't need 50 likes and 50 comments to
So
keep
they'd be
going.
nice.
Yeah, that would be absolutely, we are absolutely welcome to like um anything you guys want to say. Anyone who wants to subscribe, we're going to be continuing. Look how much stuff we have to talk about. We've had discussions about like a plethora of things, and it's just I'm so excited about when we get to that kind of thing.
Yes, I'm gushing to get to share the passion, the love I have of my connection to the divine. So it's such an exciting time to be able to dive deeply into these things that matter, that are important to me, to us, right?
Right.
And it's just great to have this platform to share with you and to create a resource for others to share with us.
Right. And in that correlation of love being parallel to acceptance that had been noted, accepting that the reason we are here right now, sharing with each other and with everyone, all of you that are watching, is because this is where we were meant to be. Accepting that, accepting this moment.
Yes, yes. We're taking what we've learned and we've accepted that it's something of value, and we're bringing it to share in a real way with others
Right,
in the hope that we can make a difference
right.
in with what matters to us, with what's important.
If it wasn't a value to this world or anyone in this world, it wouldn't be happening, but it is. And so therefore it carries a value. Just the very existence of this moment is proof that it is valuable enough to put love into.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the idea of sowing the moment with love because for me, I was talking today with somebody about the law of attraction, which led to a discussion on the law of reflection, topics we could discuss later.
Oh,
But
yes.
it was basically about the idea of taking your energy and your time and focus and putting love into all you do so that in future moments, that love comes back to you to experience and witness in new and exciting ways.
Yes. So, it's so many ways that love can just really be our underlying definition of everything that we're going through. To each person their own form of it. You for your self respect, you finding it from within rather than outside validation. And, like me with accepting the outside world and still loving the outside world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Acceptance, that big key, acceptance.
Yes. So, yeah, it's very much a foundation in unique ways to unique people, unique situations. It's so hard to define it by one thing. So,
Absolutely.
I
It's just a wide subject to explore and I'm loving that we're getting the
know,
chance.
right? That's why I didn't even expect we were going to be doing like a third video on it, but because there's so much information, you know.
Yes, the thoughts just flow and it's fun. It's fun to see where we can make our connections with something that's so important to both of us.
Right. All because we chose to love.
Yes. Love, love, love.
Yay! But definitely, guys, let us know your experiences. Let us know what love has taught you. Let us know where love has led you and what values it creates in your life because we'd love to hear your story
Yes, we
too.
absolutely would. We'd love to take part in your journey as you join us on ours.
Yes. So absolutely leave a comment below, subscribe, follow to get even more information on so much more. Uh, but for now, we will see you on the next episode.
Yay. Thank
Yay!
you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time. Love you.